Okay, so here in Vegas for the WSOP, we have our mobile operating system behind us. Bring the computers everywhere we go. Eddie's back there editing stuff for Beyond Tells 2.0. A lot of stuff about that coming. But I want to talk about the concept of measuring your progress as a poker player. And I've been absolutely obsessed with this area because of our students. I want to know that our programs are effective. I don't want to just throw out videos and then all of a sudden someone's like, yeah, they're really good, but they don't actually get better at poker. So how do you measure the effectiveness of training? How do you measure the effectiveness of you as a poker player? And the old school way, or the kind of real, most honest way, is hourly rate. And you've heard me spoke about this so much if you watch some of my videos. I mean, you have to measure your results in poker. So many players will send me messages like, I'm like, oh, are you profitable? Yeah, about, I think so. And it's like, you're either profitable or you're not. You either have an hourly rate of X or you don't. Like, you need to figure out those numbers. But the problem is this, is that a lot of recreational players, a lot of people that are in my sample have their own businesses or have jobs, and they're busy people, so they don't get the opportunity to play that much poker. So they might play 5 hours a week or something like that, or maybe 8 hours a week, or and over time, while those amount of hours don't add up to something significant. So they might get in like 150 hours a year, to the point of where it's like, how could you really tell if they're doing that well over that short amount of short sample size? And it's difficult. It's difficult to measure your progress as a poker player. There's so many different things, and the real way that we do it, and the way that I'm starting to do it, not that we've always done it, but I'm starting to do it, is thought process. And when I say thought process, it's how you approach situations at the table. So I think that one of the best ways to understand a player, from my perspective, is to have them just a single hand history. I actually have a series called How to Dissect a Poker Hand that I'm going to release soon, because so many people send me an email and they're like, Blake, I had ace-3 in the cutoff, I raised, he called, flop was 2-6-3, I bet, he called, turn was a 7, I bet, he called, river was a 3 of diamonds, I checked, he shoved, I called, was that a good move? And I'm like, oh man, I need way more information in order to understand that. It just shows that they're thinking about poker in this linear kind of basic fashion of like, card, opponent, here's flop, nothing more. And also not providing the rich context that is found in live poker, right? So that shows me certain thing about their thought process. And one of the things I started noticing was that the quality of our like private Facebook groups was just, the quality of the conversations were increasing, right? So the thought process was increasing, and I was like, wow. And it's actually to get a little bit more specific, it's the potential thought process. And this is another problem for a lot of players, is that they actually, when they sit down, they can write out how they are thinking about a spot, but when they actually sit down and play poker, they can't think like that. But that's another issue that you need to solve on VAR. If you don't have the capacity, or that you can't write it out, then you're definitely not going to be able to do it at the table. So one of the ways I think that has been the most effective for us is measuring how a player thinks about certain things. That's why all of our new training, our 2.0 versions of our training, have an integrated aspect about it, where we're constantly asking users to document their thought process. So like, I speak in a video about a hand, and then after the hand, I'm like, all right, so tell me what you would do in this spot. The user has to justify what they would do, and then we match it with our thought process so people can improve. And what I think you should do to measure your process as a table, thought process at the table, is do one really well documented hand every week, or every 2 weeks, or every month. It doesn't matter when, but at a consistent interval. So like right now, open up your calendar and say like, it's hand documentation day, and just document a hand to the best of your ability. Explain why you took the line that you took. This is a simple way of just measuring your progress as a poker player. And it's fun. You can look back at it, right? You can kind of look through like, oh, look at how I was thinking about January. Look about February. Look about March. And you can see like, what was I doing differently in order to increase my thought process? And as a coach and as an instructor, my goal is to just have my students, when they go through my programs, or when I work with anybody or speak to anybody, or even if you take my free courses or anything, is to have a significant increase in that thought process. So I love, like, all right, like, I could definitely see that in January and February, Blake released all these free programs. I did them all, and my thought process took a jump there. So you just want more than hourly rate. And I think that having that as like a poker journal is a really good way of documenting your your history as a player and your past, present, and future, and it can be very, very helpful. So start writing hands. I'll get that Hands Dissected series out for you so you know how to properly do it, and it will be illuminating. That's about it. I'm going to probably work a little bit more with Eddie. We're always working, but, you know, getting a lot of good stuff coming up.